This is the last week that we're focusing on this particular series. We're talking, this last topic, on abundance. But you can't understand the abundance of God. Well, it looks like I still have some kind of antenna, so we're going to signal. That's good. You can't understand the abundance of God unless you can see clearly the reality of sin, which appears and manifests itself with a culture of scarcity. We live in a culture, like I said, of scarcity. We're not enough. We're not good looking enough. We're not thin enough. We don't have enough hair. We don't have enough in the bank account. We don't have enough for minimum wage. We don't have enough, and the list goes on and on. And that's a very real temptation to fall into. We just don't have enough. When you take a look at what we just read with from verse 32 through 37, you won't find a church. I've never found a church like this ever in my life. Because we live in a world of scarcity. What would happen if I gave up? I can't give up. I just can't. I only have so much to give. The biggest one now is we just simply don't have enough time. For what? Time to chase after what we don't have enough of. You see, Jesus was never a rich man, a really popular man. Never really owned a home because he left it, and never really traveled that much. You'd think, according to American style of life, he was a miserable, unhappy person. And yet he brought joy to wherever he went because he realized that his abundance is not to be found in anything other than God. This is nothing new. We don't live in a new culture like somehow in the past everybody knew. No, this has been going on really since the serpent said to Eve, you don't have enough knowledge. You better eat from the tree because God isn't good enough to give you the knowledge that you need. He's not fair enough to give you the knowledge you need. And if you don't take matters into your own hands and learn how to manipulate from others, you don't think that Eve had to manipulate Adam into eating the apple? Manipulation comes very easy to us. It's our second nature. I'll even go so far as to say it's our first nature. You get caught doing something that you don't necessarily want others to know, and your first nature is, well, how can I spin this? Manipulation is probably the first nature. And when you take a look at what happened in the very next chapter that we just read, Ananias and his wife, Sapphira, were experts in manipulation. I don't blame them, we all. We grow up with it. We learn how to do it very well. I probably learned how to manipulate my mother and father much better than my brother did. And he learned from me because he saw me do it. But you just learn to get what you want. Learn how to ask in the way that you want to ask. And when you get older, you learn how to manipulate in other ways. And this is the culture that we live in, constantly being played, manipulated. It all comes from a deep belief that we live in a world of scarcity. I can't remember what university it was. It's on the East Coast, very popular university, well-known, well-established. You can look it up online after the message. But 2 years ago, they gave the biggest stipend, a speaking stipend, that they have ever in the history of this university. Just Snooki from the Jersey Shore. Because she demonstrated our cultural belief that you have to have an extraordinary life to be worth anything. And that extraordinary life is defined by how many people know you. Not love. Popularity. So here we are at the end of this, and Jesus is very clear telling his disciples, in the kingdom, it's enough. You see, the thing of it is when you live from a world and a viewpoint and a belief of scarcity, you will spend your entire life chasing and never, ever arriving. What do you call that in the workplace? I'm on the running track, and I'm in the middle. Just constantly chasing. Constantly chasing. There's no peace in it. There's no rest in it. There's no joy in it. There's just exhaustion and frustration and resentment and blame, and the list goes on. Like I said, there's nothing new. In juxtaposition of what we just read in the book of Acts, I'd like to read from you from Martin Luther's Large Catechism. And in this instance, Martin is talking about the first commandment. Anyone remember the first commandment? No other gods. Yeah, no other gods. And talks about what this means. He says, a God is that to which we look for all good and in which we find refuge in time of every need. That's what a God is. To where we look for all good and find our refuge. That's why we chase after gods. Scarcity makes you chase after gods. He goes on to say, as I have so often said, the trust and faith of the heart alone make both God and an idol. If your faith and trust is right, then your God is the true God. On the other hand, if your trust is false and wrong, then you have not the true God. For these two belong together, faith and God. The purpose of this commandment, therefore, is to require true faith and confidence of the heart, and these fly straight to the one true God and cling to Him alone. The meaning is, quote, see to it that you let me alone be your God and never seek another. In other words, whatever good thing you lack in scarcity culture, look to me for it and seek it from me. Whenever you suffer misfortune and distress, come and cling to me. I am the one who will satisfy you and keep you out of every need. Only let your heart cling to no one else. It's a very strong truth. Look to me. I will give you, come to me, all you who are weary, heavy laden, trying to chase after righteousness. If you're a religious person, you get caught in that. I just need to do more things to be more righteous. I need to be more perfect. You live by a law or a code, and that's exhausting in and of itself. But this reality of the abundance that's found in the kingdom of God, Jesus refers over and over. Come to me, and I'll give you rest. I'll give you rest. My yoke is very light. My burden is very light. Very, very doable. I'm the living water. And when you finally tap into my presence and the reality of the kingdom and you live in it, you're never thirsty. You're never scarce. I'm the bread that comes down from heaven. You never go hungry. Ever. And see, the thing of it is, this is the reality of the kingdom that the first disciples really got. Because the first disciples after the resurrection lost everything and regained it. Their experience was one of complete disappointment, complete and utter despair, followed by fulfillment and glory and power that the world hasn't yet to see repeated. You see it in churches? I don't. That doesn't mean it's not there. I admit, sometimes I'm blind as a bat. it's not commonplace, I'd say. Try to find a group of people that are so confident and one in heart and one in mind that they live from this level of abundance. Usually my thought is, I'll give whatever I have left over. Because if I don't give from what I have left over, I might not have enough. And we're going to pray about it and work through it, see if that's true with God, and we go from there. But this abundance thing is really prevalent everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. There's a group of Lutheran churches that have been gathering now for a while, a network, and I haven't gone to their meetings, but I was sent their notes, meeting notes and so forth. And the bottom line is there's a large number of smaller churches that don't quite know what to do because years ago, 50 plus years ago, they were established, and when they were established, they grew rather quickly into being a very considerable influence in their community. Their Sunday schools were 50 to 60 to 70 people. They had 2 services that were back. They were able to do and have a big influence in the community, but when the community changed, everything changed. And now there's a number of them, I can count at least 8 of them right now at the top of my hat, that have gone through the process of we don't have enough people, we don't have enough finances, we don't have enough fill in the blank to continue on. I think it's good. Because I think that we have relied upon a culture and tradition and made an idol out of it. So that if it doesn't fit our particular needs, we just leave. Some things have to go in order for something new and better to come about. This is an important teaching that we're talking about, because if you don't find the abundance of life that's found in the kingdom, the chasing, the manipulation, the fear, the worry. Remember what Jesus says about worry? Don't worry about what you're going to have to eat, or wear, or live. And then it sneaks in real subtly. You better worry about it, because if you don't worry about it, you're not responsible enough. And there's a good balance in between there. There's a balance between being responsible and being worried. And it's not easy. It's difficult. But with God, all things are possible. But we're on a precipice now. Collectively, individually, church-wise. Garth just shared with us last week, we run about $6,000 short a month. Around. It's not about time to worry. It's not about worry. It's about focus. It's about focus on the kingdom and allowing God. You realize that if each one of us were to touch one single person a year, just one, and they became a disciple involved in this church would triple in 2 years. Won't be the first time. Read the book of Acts. One of the questions that I asked in your survey is, did you read the book of Acts outside of this? Well, we don't read the Bible. We haven't been taught. We haven't taught our people how to live in the kingdom. And the rediscovery of that is going to be the key component. How do we live in the kingdom? I don't have enough time to pray. You know that Martin Luther, who wrote 50 plus books, think of this as a task. 50 plus books. In addition to translating the Bible from Hebrew and Greek into German without a computer, without electricity, with a price on his head from the very church that claimed to know the truth. In addition to a preaching schedule that was very demanding, said, unless I pray 2 hours a day, I can't do it. Are you kidding me? Are you ready to give up 2 hours a day in prayer? Oh, no, I'm not too busy. Maybe, it's not an accusation, maybe we don't love God enough. And I don't mean that accusatory, and I don't mean that from an emotional standpoint. Maybe we don't need God enough. And we think if we just did an extra hour of yoga or an extra hour of this, that somehow we will arrive. Are we willing to really look at our intentions and say, God is truly all I want, desire, and trust, and I will seek. Because if not, what do you feel? You feel it. I believe that God's Spirit moves in every generation, in every church, and is always present. And sometimes allows us to go through and experience things that we would never choose on our own. That we would never, ever in a million years decide on our own to go through, but yet allows us to go through only for the purposes of becoming the kind of people that we've always wanted to become. There is not a single person that is not tired of being manipulated, that is not tired of being tired, that is not sick and frustrated with not feeling that they are enough, that they have enough, or they ever will arrive. There is a whole field out there. We just maybe need to discover how to reach it and harvest it. And I don't know the answers. We're done with church as a method. Step 1, step 2, step 1, get property. Step 2, build. Step 3, no. This must be a spiritually led movement, or it will go nowhere fast. And this is what Paul means to live by the power of the Spirit and not the law. Live by the power of the Spirit, and there is, in the words of Paul writing to the churches, freedom, liberty. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Kirk Franklin. Beautiful song. Beautiful song. We will not find our security in anything less than the kingdom. Period. End of story. And so, my friends, as we conclude the chapter of Acts, for now, what we covered, we embark on what the next phase is, whatever that discipleship may be. We're going to have some big decisions to make in the fall, financially, culturally. You decide. In terms of your house, your life, who will you serve? The Spirit of God calls and is calling and is calling and is calling and is calling. Come, live a new life. Set everything aside and walk in your destiny. I'd like to say it's going to be a fun, exciting time. The truth of it is, if you want to know, I'm scared out of my pants. I say different things when I'm in a home with my family. Right? I'm like, you sure you want to go into ministry, son? I'd rather be scared and work through it and find my God any day than to chase after security and things that will never do it. So here's where we are, and it's a wonderful place to be, a scary place to be, a joyous place to be, and the beauty of it all, and the goodness of it all, the greatness of it all, is that we don't have to do it alone. Do it. Some things you have to do alone, but not this. This we do together. This is a God thing that always employs doing it together. So, we ready? Are we?
Brothers and sisters, we are the book of Acts.
Because I'm not. If you want to go to truth, I'm not. I'm willing, but I'm not ready. That's a good thing. Let's pray. Thank you, God.